is welcome, and thank you, everybody. It's wonderful to start having communication this way, and also I can see the interest and commitment from your part just by registering and being here. So thank you. I know that in India the time now it's okay, but for the next webinar it could be a little bit too late. So it's wonderful to see you. So I will start then. I have 1 minute to 11. So the first thing I want to say is that this webinar is its focus is on project work and how to optimize the learning in the missions, assignments, and feedback in order to prepare yourself good enough to be able to create a strong and a project work that you are proud of and that we consider top. And the point here is to learn what is it that we consider a top work, and just this is the reason why if somebody in this call, in this webinar, has not started or do not have a group in the project, in the program, it might be a little bit difficult to follow some parts, but I think that it will give you a good idea of what is happening in the program, and feel free to ask questions if you are in this case. And for those who have not started the YMP yet, I want to invite you to join our next webinar that is about it's for teachers mainly, but everybody can hear, and it's about the program and about our crowd learning system, so you can understand the program better, and hopefully that just is enough for you to make a good decision whether to start the program or not, and we hope that you would. So now let's start. Let me see. This is what will be the focus topics. Why to develop a top project work, characteristics of a successful YMP final project. Sometimes I call it YMP final project, sometimes project work, sometimes I add the adjective of top, or sometimes strong, but it's all the same. Project work or final project is the same. Examples of successful YMP final project works, key elements to develop a successful project, and 3 common mistakes to avoid. It's there are more than 3, but depending on how the webinar goes, we can mention more, because it's good to know what to avoid. And please feel free to ask questions. That's really important. If there are many questions, I will rather focus on those that are in this focus rather than on those technical ones on the website, because for that we can answer them by email, or perhaps I can indicate you where to find PDFs or videos on how to solve that. But anyhow, feel free to ask all your questions. So, why to develop a top project work? Well, I think the most important is that you get more quality practical experience. And I also, when I'm thinking about this, I remember that somebody sometime told me that it takes the same amount of time or less to do something good than to do something bad. So one decides how you want to, like how much effort you want to put on that, but the time may be the same, or perhaps a little more at the beginning. But then if you start good, you don't waste your time. If you start bad, you might need to repeat it, or you might not feel good about it. So so why not to do a good project work? And then you also can get, by doing a good project work, you get a higher grade in your diploma, and of course teachers with groups that have a higher grade get also more recognition and more experience. And it's good to be experienced teacher in the YMP, because this is not the topic of this webinar, but teachers also have a teacher diploma and get more credits. Then also you have a real impact in the world, which is one of the reasons for the existence of the YMP. We want to have an impact and to move towards a more sustainable place, a more sustainable planet. So here you have an opportunity to do that with the project work. Top project works compete for prizes and invitation to worldwide events. And this is really, I think this is a good incentive, and it's really exciting when these events happen, because here Elizabeth has been in both of these. And I don't know if you want to mention something, Elizabeth?
Yeah, what I can mention is that we are working very closely with UNESCO, and both these events, they wanted to have real life voices from young people around the world presenting their experience of ESD and their project work. And of course, the way we screen and evaluate which students would be most fitting to join such an event are by the quality of their project works. So the first picture to the left, that's from an event in April last year called Stockholm Plus 40. We actually had the great opportunity of inviting 12 students from all over the world. They all did excellent project works. And to the right, you probably understand from the logo there, we have the one closest in the picture is Rafael and Thiago, and they are Brazilian students at the Rio Branco High School, and they and their teacher joined that. And that is also lovely, because when two students are able to join such an event, you can actually see that inspires their whole community and inspires into working for sustainable development in their community, and they get a lot of attention. So that's a very good side effect. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, characteristics of a top. Thank you, Elizabeth. I always love to hear your points, because you have been in those events. So who can better talk about that? So characteristics of a top project works. They are hands-on, meaning that they do something. They go down and make a change. They do something. They contact people. They develop. They have an idea and they develop it, and they go beyond just searching for information and identifying a problem. We will go a little bit more. We will talk about this hands-on and hands-on versus presenting a problem as a project work. That's totally different, and we want the action. They show innovative thinking. Some ideas are wonderful, like some ideas I've never thought about, and I'm always very surprised by such ideas. But some others are perhaps not that innovative. It's something that we have heard, but what is innovative is the way in which the students manage to make that idea happen. And that that can be there's no limit to that. Like students can think in different ways. There are so many different contexts, local contexts, that allow for a diversity of ways um, to make the same thing happen. So it's not a physical Einstein innovation type that we aim. Like if students can do that, we are very happy and we support them. But it's some students feel pressure to develop a wonderful idea, very innovative, and then they just get a little bit stuck on that, like the idea, but nothing happens. So it's more about just finding the way to do it, perhaps not with the purpose of being innovative, but just with the purpose of making it happen. And then the innovation and creativity comes. But then these top projects also show a collaborative creativity. And this is very close related to engaging stakeholders in their project from the beginning. It's by involving other people and talking with more people in the same idea. It becomes collaborative. Just it could be a collaborative understanding of a problem and a collaborative way to solve or to bring a solution to that problem. So it's about people and about working together. And all in all, the overall characteristics that we see is that the groups manage to change perspectives and lives. So you will see some example. I will present some examples so this is more clear. But this is the main big characteristics. But here is some more in detail. What are these characteristics about? And these projects show a strong understanding of local conditions. The better and the more accurate a problem is defined, better and more effective solutions can be thought of. And this strong understanding of local conditions is very linked to this collaborative creativity, bringing in stakeholders, talking with them in order to really understand the problem, the local conditions. And then with that, then that's the ticket for a more effective solution. Bring about local capacity building. It's like having an impact at schools and communities with lasting effects. And here we can also see it's hands-on. If you are not hands-on, you cannot have an impact. If it's not innovative, as I told you, it's like trying to solve the problem in different ways. Then without that, you cannot have an impact. And also, it's very interesting because just by sometimes the impact is not that big. If you see like the baseline, if you see what was the condition and the situation before the project and after, perhaps the change you cannot see a very big change, but that's short term. But then there is a long-term effect from the projects. So just by other people seeing and being talked and having talked with a group that is developing a project, it's like the students, the groups are planting seeds here and there. So so this is very, I think this is very beautiful. Like we are the change just by speaking and talking about what we know. So sharing it with others in a compassionate and in a selfishless way. Like it's not like see, you have to do it like this, but it's more like, see, let's understand this way, or like it's powerful for change in a long term. And then we also see this connection with different stakeholders that allows, that promotes or give the place to real action. What we have seen in these top projects, in the top projects, is that stakeholders, when students approach a company or the government or a community, that opens the door to be able to both understand the problem better and also make things happen, because you also need permission. You also need to create that that bond with the people that will allow you to start working with them, and then there is change. So without involving others, it's the likelihood to create change is like minimum. All in all, change and perspective. All in all these projects have an impact, changing perspectives and lives. Examples of successful YMP project works. Our CE friends have seen these examples all over, like many times, but perhaps you have not seen these descriptions that are a bit longer than what we have shown before. So China, these students, and Elizabeth met this student, didn't you, Elizabeth? Perhaps you're in mute.
I'm just unmuted. Yes, I've met them and seen them. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
What they actually achieved over a quite short period of time.
Yeah, and we can read it. The students wanted to explore if biogas could be used in urban areas. A nice question. Urban areas. So biogas can be used to help people make meals, supply heat and electricity, and the waste residue of biogas can be used as a neutral fertilizer. So there are many benefits of using biogas. So they identified that there was an opportunity. You see, sometimes a problem and an opportunity, but here you can see more of an opportunity. And this is also important because it's not always only about finding problems, but it's also finding opportunities. Sometimes there are things that are working, but they could be improved. So just finding these opportunities can also be a good starting point for a project. So the students designed a biogas generator model appropriate for urban areas and presented the project to the local government. Stakeholders involvement. The students created a blog, communication blog, that contains information about the project. So you can see here is total working with others. So the students combine an engineer challenge, biogas, with information dissemination and engaged the local government. So here we see the elements mentioned before. And let's see another one. Jordan, this group from Jordan developed a project on the topic of poverty reduction. The students sought to create a sustainable source of income for poor families in the Amman and Sarka area by training them to produce and market soap, mushrooms, and herbs. You see, here is also engagement, stakeholders engagement, going to hands-on, going to meeting these poor families. They identified an area of need, and then they brought in training from what they have learned in the YMP. So this is the generosity of sustainable development, working with sustainable development, that I really like. It's just like, you just I keep pressing the wrong button. But then let's see. So they conducted training programs, workshops, and fundraising events in order to start up production, distribution, and sales. This was way too hands-on, like very good. fundraising, this is challenging. So remember that I mentioned at the beginning about practical experience. This is it. When these guys want to work, and in the future in their works, they already know what it is to create programs, workshops, fundraising. So they are not experts, but they know. So they live in the program with more skills. So the project enabled 40 families to create a sustainable source of income, and the project was eventually expanded into other communities with similar needs. Wow! So you see this like expansion, and something that is really good that we can see a very good characteristic is that this group made a good work reporting on the number, like what was the. It's not the same to say the project enabled families. We do not know if it was 2 or if it was 100 or if it was 50. So this group, they just told us how many. And then we can see, yes, before the project, it was 0 families. And after the project, it is 40 families. So this is a good aspect of project. And I mentioned this for the groups that are conducting their projects. When they report, just make sure that you let us know. Try to find ways to show that there was an impact. Sometimes you are not able to show that, but you can write about that in your reports. But then let's continue. Key elements to create a successful YMP final project work. So good performance in the assignments and feedback missions is the ticket to start strong in the project work part of the YMP. Why? The program is designed to give students the skills to create a quality project and to strengthen teachers' guiding and coaching skills. So it is not only the students, but it's also the teachers are learning. The YMP, and in the next slides, I will talk about this. So so just wait. The YMP trains students and teachers to see different angles of a problem and solutions. This is also very, very powerful. But this cannot happen if the assignments are lousy, if students do not put the effort to really answer the assignments in a complete way or in a way that shows what they really did. Or some students do not do much sometimes. But as I told you, I think that this thinking of it takes the same time to do it right than to do it wrong or bad or lousy. So you choose how do you want to spend your time, doing it good or doing it so-so, or better not do it. So, and the same for feedback missions. Let's continue. How does this happen? And here, natural preparation for project work. Here I want to make a parenthesis because Sanjay is part of our CE, is working with the CE, our CE partners. The YMP has partnership with the Center of Environmental Education in India, and actually Pramod is also present in this presentation, in this webinar, and Preeti, I do not know if she is here, but they are coordinating the pilot of the YMP in India, and I just want to invite you to. You have been working with learning missions and assignments, but in the next slides, I will talk about it. So if you feel that there is something to add for the Indian context, please come in because we can all learn. So let's see. And especially you, Sanjay, as we talked yesterday. So learning. So the YMP. you can see it as the preparation for the project work can be seen like pyramid, like it's like building blocks also, like the learning missions set the base for everything that will happen in the program afterwards. So the learning missions is the theory, and you can read theory, and that's learning in a very outer layer in the learning process. So then, in order to help the students to take in those learnings, there are mission assignments with tasks, and these tasks are also key in the learning and in the preparation for the project work, because some of the tasks, they are about describing your day, and they bring awareness. They are about bringing awareness, and some others challenge the students to go out and find answers outside, and different from the traditional learning at schools, that you find answers in books. We ask the students to go out and find out in nature. And the thing is that learning and knowledge is not only in books. It's good to have books, but there is a learning mission, and there is support material and links to material that you can read. But then the learning happens when you go outside. But then it's like also this gives confidence to the students to be able to find that knowledge outside. We ask them to go and interview, like, first people that are close to them, like their grandparents, to see how was it in the past. And this is also information that you cannot find in a book. Like you cannot find, it's very, very difficult to find just the information that you get in interviews is really rich. And just the skill that you gain by going out and asking first your grandparents, and then like people in your neighborhood, and then like contacting perhaps an NGO or a company or the government. So the challenge is growing through the assignments, like through the missions or the mission assignments. So oh yeah. So so that's another skill that is brought in the assignments. There are other skills such as proposing solutions. This is also like this task start training the students to be able to see a problem and think of solutions. And normally, like at school, young people, we are not given that. We are not in many situations where we are where we are the ones that can bring solutions. So sometimes some students just when they talk to us and they told us, like, I just my confidence raised in the YMP was raised in the YMP, because now I know that I can solve a problem. I can find a solution. Like, it's not like solutions are not something for when you are in university or project or outside in the working life. So we can all bring solutions at this level, because we can solve stuff that we need to solve at home. But this is I think that the people, those who have gone through the assignments, know what I mean. Like, you get a sense of, I'm capable of bringing a solution. And then when you go to the feedback missions and you see how other groups in other countries have different solutions to the same problem, that's amazing, because you see, wow, it's not like what my group came up with is not the only, it's not the only solution. So there are other solutions, and look, we didn't see this from this side, we didn't see this other problem that this other group. So then this trains the students and teachers to start seeing like the broader picture, the different aspects, and this is like you are repeating this in the 18 missions. So imagine 18 times going through this. After 18 times, you are like you are trained to see the world in a broader way, and to see how there are many solutions and also many ways to see a problem. So, and when you have that, then you can start doing a project that has those qualities. So, and then comes the project work. Here is assignments and feedback missions are the trickiest part or of the YMP perhaps, and if students and teachers do not understand the value of that, but the better the mission, the assignments, the better, like, there is a communication here. So students communicate their findings, and then those findings, like the quality of those findings and the reporting of the findings, set the standard for the feedback also. But perhaps the groups at the beginning are not too good reporting and reporting their findings. But then the feedback, the people giving feedback can also push, like ask, challenge the groups in a constructive and positive way. Challenge the groups. I think that in our call, like it's something that is happening in the world, and it's changing. But many educational systems are still not really training people to traditionally. It's changing, so please it may be that in your school the education system is it's rather advanced and or progressive, and you have these for many years, but in some other contexts students are not used to be critical, and people do not dare to say we dare to say what is good, but we do not dare to say what is not good. And the thing is, and the truth for me is that it's, you know, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And it's not about the group. It's not about the person. It is about the work that is put in front. So when we come from this, from the understanding that we are criticizing in a constructive and positive way the assignment and not the people behind it, then you can say what you see. And then something that to criticize something is not like I think that is very unfair to criticize without giving a suggestion or a solution. So and it's really risky also just to criticize without saying why or without bringing a suggestion, because you do not understand why the other group wrote that. Perhaps in their context that works, or perhaps in their culture they do not see things in the way you see them. So here I think it's a great way to give feedback is to ask why. You know, I find this new, interesting, and different from the way we do it in my country, or from the way I would think, or from the way I have seen it before. Why do you propose this? I would suggest that. So that's constructive, that's positive, and by this I'm not encouraging people just to point out the things to be improved, but also it's nice to hear what was good. Like if you see that the project, like the students really seem to have to put effort on expressing, like using an English that is clear, you can point that out. but also like the idea is to challenge in a positive and constructive way. And with that, we are training ourselves to be more critical and also to see different aspects and to see the broad pictures. And this is strongly tied to critical thinking. And so that's also one of the preparation during the program. So the key element is communication on the site, but a constructive and positive and educative communication. And then the other thing is here is teamwork and collaboration. Like after working 18 missions, if working on assignments and giving feedback as a group to 18 missions, you really know your team. And this is important, and I want to stress it because some groups with the aim to go fast and finish the 18 missions as soon as possible because they have other activities or because vacation come or whatever reason. Some of them try to like divide the missions among the members in the group. So John takes mission 1 and Laura takes mission 2 and Sarita takes mission 3. But then the learning is incomplete. By the end, perhaps each of the members will have the experience of 6 missions, or less or more, depending on the number of students. And then there is a lot. They will not be able to see the whole picture of sustainability because the program is also all the topics contain, like after going through all the topics, you get, like perhaps in an unconscious way, but if you think it, if you look at the topics, you get a system thinking. And this is what the world is about. This is what sustainable development is about. Like we need to understand like how the social system, the economic system, the environmental systems are interconnected, and how sometimes there are some trade-off. We need low prices in products, but we also would like to be able to consume organic products. So it's environment against our budget. But then you understand that there is a system of values and prices, and so it's only going through the whole program and not skipping parts and not trying to take shortcuts. You can get and get the most of the learning on sustainable development and the skills that you get in the YMP. Any comment?
Yes, I think it's time for if any one of you wants to ask something or comment, please raise your hand and I can unmute you. No, there don't seem to be any comments. You can see the little hand in the panel there, in the control panel. You can click that if you want to ask a question. Or you can write a question on the question bar. No, doesn't seem to be any. Feel free during the whole session to ask questions. Write down them or raise your hand. I think we can go on, Paula.
Okay. So this is a little bit of summing up of what I just said. But the skills developed during the missions are writing, reporting, and manage deadlines. You have 24 hours to send in your feedback, so you really have to do it. It gives you a broader view of problems and solutions, and this is a skill that is wonderful because this will help you your whole life, and not only at school but also at home, because when there is and with social interactions, because then you can see like you know, there are different approaches and each people comes from different ideas and places and from different, they have their reasons to do and say the things they say. So this is great training, and all these actually draw their view from this is very tied with system thinking and together they give a stronger critical thinking skill. Hence, you get a hands-on research and problem-solving skill. You also get communication and critical peer-to-peer reviewing, teamwork skills, awareness, and reflection, among others. So this was more of a summing up. Let's see now another top project. And this project was developed by Argentina, students in Argentina. These students suggested school uniforms should be made from organic cotton. With some input from local producer of organic cotton fabric, they designed a sustainable alternative. Again, you see, local with some input from the local producer. So they contacted a stakeholder, local producer of organic cotton. The idea was pitched to the headmaster, parent association, and school uniform supplier. So they managed to put together the one with the decision-making parent association that they also had a say, and the uniform supplier. So they contacted the stakeholders that were able to help them make their idea happen. That was to make uniforms in a sustainable way. Their initiative was accepted and was eventually carried out throughout their entire school district, which has led to an upswing for local suppliers and organic fabrics. I like this, and you, Elizabeth, I think that you are the one who heard this.
Yes.
Tell us about this, because it's nice.
Yeah, it's a fantastic project, and it was not actually just in their school that made a change. Actually, this was eventually a change for the whole school district. And when I met Florencia a year ago, she just told me about how fantastic it was. She is now at university, walking around Buenos Aires and seeing all the school kids still in the uniform that her team designed. So that is a long-term impact. Really, really fantastic project.
Yeah, I love it, and that's why I just had to say, even when like they developed this project long ago, but it's still like just your these first-hand information from her was really, it's fantastic.
Yes, and you could also see from all the girls in the group that the experience with the YMP and doing a really good project work has really changed them. They're all very much about sustainable development, and their further education has taken that direction, and they are bringing that into the business life or wherever they're working. So yes, it's real change.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. So here is something that could be very interesting for everybody starting a project work. And also those that, for those that are doing the missions, because this is, I think, this is a piece of gold. Yeah, so these tips, first, it is about connecting dots. So creating a good project work, it's about connecting dots, but you need to be active on finding those dots. How do you do that? Here are 3 suggestions, and actually that sum up in 4. So I suggest to all groups and to the teacher to promote this from the beginning, just ask the questions, or question what topics inspire you. And I suggest to do this for each mission, like just a reflection after like the project is over, or if you don't want to do it for each mission, you can do it by the end of the 18 missions, or in the middle when you are in mission number 9, and just to look back and see which topics inspire me. Like when I was reading the learning mission, what really, I just felt like, wow, this is really music to my ears. You know, when you read something and it's like as if the text was just reading your, like putting words into what you think is important. So take a note, always have a journal where you can just write those topics, and it doesn't matter how long is the list, you just bring them, and then you can just by the end prioritize them and see, okay, which are my 3 top topics. And it's a good exercise personally, like individually for each member of the group, but also as a group. As a group, I recommend to do this when you are thinking on your project proposal, because then you can see which topics really interest the group. And because if you're in a group that is working on something that you just don't like, then we can find some engagement problems. But also, after working in 18 missions together, the group is kind of a unit that and you happen to like similar things sometimes and sometimes not. But this is I recommend this. Then this is really linked to the first tip, or the first tip. Open your eyes from mission 1. Keep a journal. It's like things that quotes from somebody, like keep the contacts of the people, the stakeholders that you interview or contacted during the tasks. Write down everything. Write down about an experience when you were out in the forest, and your realizations on the importance of the ecological systems, or like write down all those hints that sometimes come when you are perhaps taking a shower, or waiting for the bus, or just going about to sleep, or in the middle of the night. Write down those those things that just call you, because those are tips. Our brain it's wonderful. So when you ask these questions, what inspired me? Your brain, it works like a GPS. Your brain will start thinking, what inspires me? So then it will be sending you information of like what inspires you, because it's like when you focus on something, you start seeing that. When you want to buy a yellow jacket that you see on the store, at the store, you just happen to see many yellow jackets around, and it's because your brain has that as a GPS, like yellow jacket. So then if you ask your question, what inspires me, like then you start your brain will start finding those inspirations for you. So write them down. And then just also reflect now and then, what are the most pressing local sustainability problems. So at school, just keep thinking and keep asking. And sometimes when you are with your uncle, your grandmother, or your friends, or perhaps just happen to need to wait for somebody and at the park, or I don't know, and then there is somebody to talk with, and you don't have a conversation topic, but you want to talk. So just talk about the environment. So like, how can this park improve, or how do you live in this neighborhood? What do you think is what are the social? I don't know. You can just keep thinking on what are the pressing local sustainability related problems. And you can use this as a topic for many things, for the communication in the YMP, for so just identify this is so then by the end of the 18 missions, you have a journal with these 3 pieces of information, and then you can map them and find how are these things related, like the pressing problems, plus the topics that you like, plus all the information that you happen to find that can support you here. And so then the project comes out of this. This is a way to define a project work. It's not the only way, and you don't need to do this. Sometimes people and groups just know what they want to work about. But if you have problems, I suggest this. It also helps to have a group purpose. So ask yourself, why are we here? Why are we in the YMP? and you can share these. I suggest that you share these on the website, on the YMP website, and write the purpose of your group. Our group is in the YMP because of this, and you can write this at the beginning and then at the end, and you can also write your reflection on how did our purpose change. And I think that that's really interesting. And why writing that and sharing it with others? It helps. Perhaps sometimes you get comments from others, and that could be really useful. And they can give ideas on what to look for. So people know what you are up to. So then normally people tend to just, we like to share. And the people that, the kind of people that joins the YMP or any program like the YMP, they are up to, they are generous, and then they like to share, and we are all here for learning and improving the world. So the likelihood that you can get very useful and uh, and comments that show care are very high. And so then this can be also helpful to know. Our group has the purpose to, I don't know, whatever. The mission task 4 in mission 2, I think it asks about how do you see, how would your city look like in 20 years if it was sustainable? So you can use that task and then focus on what do we need, what do we want to make. We want that our city is more sustainable. We cannot work on everything, but look here at our neighborhood, we identify this local pressing problem, this pressing problem, and we also identify that this topic is one that inspires us. So let's do the project on that, and then this will ensure that um, mm, that you will make a change because you have identified a real problem, and it's something that interests you. And then also, I think having purpose, having goals, help you when you are tired. When you say like, oh no, this is too much work. Oh, we are in mission 5, and this is getting very hard with school and with I want to quit. But then go back to your purpose and see what is it that you want to achieve, and that can bring you back to your creative person or like co-creative person in your group, and make it a lasting effect. So this is yeah, so I would like here it would be good to talk with the students that develop those projects that have a lasting effect. But it's good to think, how can this continue? So when you leave the school, how would this continue? It's good. But I can also imagine that for some groups, they just developed something that they liked, and they happen to engage the key stakeholders that help them to create something that will last, like having the headmaster engaged in your project, the Argentinian group, they talked with they had the right stakeholders to make something that would last at school, at their school. Any comment or question?
Paula, we have a question from Sanjay. He says,
Yes.
is there any system of a peer review of project work like we have the feedback missions for the assignments?
It's a good question, Sanjay. We don't have it. What we have is YMP staff goes through the projects and give comments. And it could be different from different people from us, and it could be that a project will receive comments from 2 different people plus the teacher. We do not have that yet, but that is something that has been discussed. So answering your question, no, it's not there. Adding to your question, something may come up, and then everybody will be notified.
Yes. I just want to add to that just underscore what Paula just said. there will also be a project work gallery where you can actually see all the project works. And that is also, the YMP will always be under development as good ideas come in. And that is certainly one of the focused areas, so that the students also could rate projects and so on. Another idea is also, you have to be a bit qualified to go through and rate the projects. Another idea is also to engage teachers that has been with us for a long time, and to get help from them of evaluating the project.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. That completes the message. Okay, so I will continue. 3 common mistakes. There are more that I want to share, but I may share them in another webinar or through another channel. But I think that these are, and I do this because of time and also because of there is a lot of information. So I have exceeded the recommended load of information, but I wanted to touch on this also. So common mistakes, poor problem identification or understanding. Sometimes you can see that the groups just didn't took in all the, it's like the system thinking didn't really, they didn't manage to bring that in the project. It could be different reasons that they didn't made time enough to define their problem. It could be that they made shortcuts to finish the program early, so they didn't, not everybody knew about, they didn't get this training on system thinking that I was talking about, that you get during the missions and assignments. So a tip to understand and identify problems, just contact stakeholders, ask questions, hear their stories and understand their needs. Ask why is this not working? Perhaps you may find that there is a resistance because people are not open to hear new stuff, because it's difficult to get in, to have a new waste, a new way to organize the waste. So just talk to people even before writing your proposal, because then you get a better picture of what you can do. Focus only on one aspect. Yeah, another mistake is to focus only on one aspect of sustainability, and we read reports where students are really good on, they understood very well, the environmental problem that they are tackling, perhaps air pollution, for example, and they found wonderful sources of information, and they have a wonderful solution. But they never mention, or if they mention, it was just a consequence of expressing the problem. Like when you it was just as a consequence. They mentioned the other aspects that are social aspects and environment and economic aspects, because it's hard not to mention them. But it's very clear when you can read when the students really understood it, and when they mention it, because you cannot talk about an environmental problem without mentioning other problems. So just bring in, and this is for the teachers, and for all missions, teachers and students suggest, okay, but this is for the next slide. Then, I'm not sorry for that, but I will complete this. I bring a solution for this, but it's on the next slide. Then, poor report and documentation. Many groups have wonderful projects, but but they are not able to express what they did. So you can read in between lines that they made a good work, but they were not able to say what was the change. They did not have like goals that you can like how was it in the beginning and how was it in the end, and they do not have pictures. We cannot see whether that really happened, or so just document, like bring your journal, take photos, tape your interviews, and then you can present that, and that allows you to create also a better project report. And let me see, what is the time? 2 minutes. You can read about this. This is, I can go fast. No, I will go to what I want to, because I was into that. Ways to avoid these mistakes. As I told you in the feedback, it's not, it's incomplete and it's unfair to mention or criticize, to mention the problem without bringing your point of view or a solution or a suggestion. So here, you can, we have poor problem identification or understanding. So what can you do? You can contact stakeholders. There is a, from that you know from the assignments. You can work with them, ask them for leads to other contacts. So just try to find, ask, make contacts. This is a suggestion in order to identify the problem correctly or more accurately and understand it. So in order not to focus only on one sustainability aspect, I encourage teachers to encourage the students during the missions to look at always the three aspects. So what was the social aspect? What was the economic aspect? And for students and teachers, this is a great question for feedback. So how does this connect to society when you see that the group is just focusing on one aspect? How does this connect to economy? How are these all working together? Those are good feedback questions. And you can suggest also how you see it, but you can also ask them, I want to know what you think. Poor reporting and documentation. Assignments help develop writing skills. So if you are really conscious and taking care of your on reporting your assignment results, then you will have 18 opportunities to train your writing skills as a group if you do that during the missions. Then aim and ask for clarity and for being concise when you write your assignments and when you give feedback. So clarity and being concise. Try to go straight to the point, because sometimes it's really boring to read and read and read loads of text. And this is a skill, a writing skill. And I can tell you, I still sometimes create long texts for just one idea. So this is a training skill. And the YMP is, it's a good place to train that. So ask also when you see, aim to do that and ask other groups to do that in your feedbacks. What is the main point? And then you can ask, what is the main point and the parts, like being able to, if you are able to put out the main, to bring up the main points of your project and the parts, then you will be able to, you will need that in the report, in the project report. And being able to say, to express, to be clear on what the group did and what they found, what was the change. So it's 12 o'clock now in Swedish time, and I skipped one project. Here you can see the pictures from the events, from 2 global events, where students with the projects were invited and participated. Any question? Hello?
Yes, that is a fantastic slide, Paula. Exactly pressing the point that we should do here. Please stay in touch. And if you could show us that slide again, Paula, with the, we are, of course, our website. Please, Paula, could you show the last slide again? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And our Facebook and Twitter, and you can also, of course, contact Paula. This would be a really good time for, we have some questions here. One question from China. Zhao Yuqin. I probably did not pronounce that correctly. Yes, let's see if Yuxin Xiao, would you like to ask Paula something? You are now unmuted, so if you want to, you can speak to us. I think I can hear that you're trying to pose a question, but the sound quality is unfortunately rather bad. So if you have a question, could you please write that question and we will try to answer it. But thank you for participating all the way from China. Let's
You
see.
write it here, distance.
Yeah. You could also go into Facebook and write this if you have a question. Okay, Belgian. You are now, your microphone is now on, so you can speak to us. You have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank presenter Paula. It was a very clear presentation. I want to ask if we can develop our project with other countries.
Thank you for your question and for your message. No, not now. You mean like a group of, like an international group, like, yeah, no, we don't have that yet. Actually, that was a discussion like in 2008 that we were, but and it has not yet happened. So it's there, but you cannot now. You can contact the group, but no, you need to post, you need to submit project work from your group, local group.
Okay, so you mean Belgian? If I understood you correctly, if you could become a teacher for the group from another country, is that what you're saying?
Maybe we can cooperate with the other countries' teacher and the students, and we can do same project with our countries.
Okay, I understand. No, then Paula's answer is correct. What I can tell you is from the YMP, the contact you that I must ask you all to actually communicate with the other teachers online, because historically we've had some great international cooperations between schools starting in the global classroom, where they actually gone to visit other or kept in touch after the course and been doing projects in sustainable development between their schools and having evolved into exchange programs. And that is just to show you that if you actually start communicating and on the platform with other teachers, it often evolves into not only friendships but also international collaboration.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, yeah, something else, Virgin. It's interesting to see ideas like these from students and teachers. So could you just write down how would you, like, what would this collaboration be like for you? Because I think it was really good that you asked more clarification, Elizabeth, like what kind of cooperation. So it's good to see, perhaps when if something, it's good to know what people think that would be good to have in the program. It's not that we can promise to develop that, but it's also always good to hear from you. So I would ask you to send that question like that.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm sorry. Yes?
I will send email to Paula then.
Yes, you
thank
could
you,
do that. Very good. Belgian, I also want to emphasize for all the teachers and people interested in the YMP participating here, that the YMP is nothing that everything we do with the YMP is based on feedback from you. So we are really encouraging you to tell us what features you want to develop, you want us to develop, because it is, we do it for you, it should be a useful tool for you. So thank you, Belgin, for that feedback. And I must encourage all of you to give us that feedback, either send our mail or interact with us on our Facebook. And we will shortly also add other features to the website that has to do with improving communications, not only within your classroom, but with everyone between classrooms as well. We have some more questions here now. A question from Sanjay. Would you like to, I'm muting you here, Belgin, again, just a minute. Okay, Sanjay, you are now live here, so please go ahead and speak your question.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. I wanted to ask, how the social aspects get integrated into the project work. For example, if you take the organic uniform campaign by students from Argentina, so how are the social aspects involved in this project?
Yeah, we can go back to that here and see the social aspects. Yeah. Yeah, this is more of a lifestyle. There was the students. It was getting to learn about organic clothing. It was this was more of the lifestyle, an impact on lifestyles, and I think these students were also like first. They mentioned something about how much organic fabric, what was the use of or the knowledge about organic clothing in the school. So it's about lifestyle.
Are you happy with that answer, Sanjay? Are you happy?
Social issues.
I'm sorry, Sanjay. Could you please say again?
Yeah, more in depth, how the critical social issues which we face in country like India, we have many critical radical social issues. So how the students who are opting for project work, if we have an example, if we can share with our students, then it will be beneficial for them.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Sorry. I can show you a project here. Let's see, where is it? I have it somewhere here. Now we are going through everything. No, but where did I must have taken that away. But there is a group that I go back to this. Yes, and this project was in Sweden, and the group contacted, and this was like very social. They contacted an organization, an NGO that deals with, they support immigrants, and this was about urban kind of poverty. It's not that there is poverty in Sweden, but urban. It was. This is a social issue in Sweden with the immigration and whether they can find jobs or not in Sweden. And then, of course, there are social aspects related to the children from immigrant parents. And this organization, Taman, in Sweden, they take care, they work with that in Lund specifically. And the students contacted the group. They had the purpose or the goal to help these students to be motivated and feel capable at school, because of course there is a different educational system among Sweden and the other countries from where the immigrants come from. And then they also teach their goal was to help them with their homework and feeling capable of managing the education in Sweden, and they taught them about sustainable development. So that's the way they were tackling or working on a social issue. That's a way to do it. And the environmental, this was, of course, this, for example, sometimes it's hard to bring in the three elements of sustainability in a project. But what we want to see is that the students are able to describe and to see, first to identify, to see the interconnections and to report them. Because these, they mentioned that these families have lower income, and that's connected with the kind of jobs or the lack of jobs for their parents. So that's a socio-economic issue. So they do not have all the means to be exposed to many of the things that students with more resources are exposed to. Like they have different, like they are very good using computers because they grew up like with a computer at home, or you know. So that's, they connected the socio-economic aspect here. They describe that situation, and the environmental problem was that sometimes this group, like certain groups of immigrants, they are not in their countries, they do not have perhaps a waste sorting system that at all. So they come here and perhaps they do not know how to sort the waste, and then they mix everything. So they wanted to help them to understand that. So
Paula,
also...
I'm sorry to interrupt you here because we have another question before
Yes.
we end this session. I just want to say to Sanjay also, a suggestion might be that you, Paula, can actually send that information to Sanjay so that he can share it with the rest of his team and the teachers. If we have a clear example of project work with a clear social aspect, that could be inspiring to Indian teachers and students.
Yeah,
we
and
have
to the others, I think. But
exactly.
yes, Elizabeth, I will.
Yeah. Okay. From Dilip here, we have a question. Is it any timeline to complete a project?
Yes, groups have 2 months to complete a project.
Okay, short and clear. Are you happy with that answer, Dilip? It seems so. Yes. Okay, I will just go through here and see if there's room for one last question. Okay, we have a question now from Eugene in China. You have made a summary about what we did well or bad during the YMP, but we wonder what it is about our final work. Okay, I am
what
not
it is about our final work.
Yeah.
I
do not really understand that question, Eugene. The point of this webinar was actually to help teachers involved in the YMP to create better project work and how that is connected to going through the assignments and the feedbacks and how it starts there during the whole course. And then it's really up to each student group to select what topic they want to write about in their project work.
Yes.
If that answers your question. I think we, and please, if anyone felt they didn't get an answer to the question, you're more than welcome to contact us. And I think we need to end this session now. So thank you, Paula, for presenting, and thank you everyone for being here and listening in to the webinar and engaging with us. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.